Good afternoon everyone and welcome back to day 18. Can you believe it? It's day 18 today of 100 days of code, and we're going to continue on where we left off with this new project Max has given us now that we're going to build out ourselves. So I just added this string here yesterday because there was nothing in the project. So we're going to see what his intention is and get coding. So thanks for joining me. So I'm just watching the video as usual, and then I'll start coding once I know what it is that I'm doing. So okay, so we're just going to create a new components folder and start adding in our code. So within our source file here, we want a new folder called components. We'll also have a UI folder and a users folder. UI users. And we're going to create an add user component. So we need a new file called add user.js. And we'll just set this up as we have for all of our other projects so far and components. So we just import React from React. And then we declare our function definition or our component definition, which matches the name of the file, and this is just a actual function. We're going to accept the props, and there we go, and we export default name of the file. So so here we have our return, what we want this component to return back out, and we want this to be a form because we're going to use it to add a new user via a form. So let's do that, and our form just needs a label. Sorry, my computer just told me my battery's low, but it should be plugged in, so uno momento, por favor, amigos. Just give us a moment. Okay, so yeah, should be fine. I have it plugged in. I just don't know why the warning didn't go away once it was plugged in, so don't want this switching off on me now, you know. Anyway, let's keep going. I think we're okay. So very confident. So here we're going to add in a HTML4 tag. So let's do that. And this is going to be the username. So the HTML4 and the label, this is for screen readers and stuff, so important for accessibility. And then we have an input, which is going to be for this particular username input. So here we're going to have the ID of username. So this is the matching input box for our username label, and the type is going to be text that we input in here. So text, and then we're going to have another label and input, and this time it's going to be the age. In years. Number and age for the IDs. And then we just need a button. And this is the add user button. And then we just need our onSubmit called out on our form in order to tell it which function to run on submit. So we're going to have an add user handler, and we take the event, which is the inputted information, and then for the moment we're just going to prevent default. And then this is the function we're going to run. And then we're just going to want to use this, so we're going to import it in our app.js and use it. So add user. And then we can actually use it. Okay guys, cool, so that's still recording because my computer shut down, so one moment please, sorry for the technical difficulties. Okay, so we'll just keep going from where we were at. So here I am going to add the add user component, and this can be self-closing. Okay. So add user.js line 5, expected an assignment or a function call and saw an expression. So we need to do yeah, expected a function call, so I actually need to pass the brackets. There we go. Okay. Yeah, prevent default is a function call, so you want to prevent the default behavior and you pass in the parentheses because it is a function call. So that's what that was saying there. And now we have our username and our age input boxes here, so that's great. And we're not doing anything at the moment with this. So I'll just continue to watch the video and see what else is coming up. So let's do that. Yeah, we need some styling. So we're going to add it globally. So in this in this index file. So let's go. Okay, and so I'm going to create a card component in order to wrap this in a card and just to visually tidy it up. So in our UI folder we'll create a new card. And we'll just set it up as we always do. So import React from React, and then we will define it. So const So this is just how we set up our standard React components when we're creating our own components, and then we just export default card so we can use it elsewhere. And so we want the props to be put inside of the card. So So I'm going to create a card.module.css class because we're going to use the object to insert the style. So that's how we use it with this module approach. So what should I do? Okay, so we want this to be 0, 2 px, 2 pixels, 8 pixels, and then the color RGBA 0. So this is just going to give a very slight shadow to our box here, around the box, just to make it look a little bit more 3D. And then we want a border radius, which is just going to give that some curved edges. So we say 10 pixels. Cool. So now we can use this. Well, first we need to continue to assign these classes actually to our card. So we just say class name, and that's going to be equal to styles dot So equals, and then we'll actually just import those styles from our module, well, from our CSS done in the module approach. So styles from, and we're going to import it from our card module .css. And now we can do styles.card to apply these styles. So sorry, and this should be in lowercase c. Okay, and then which is the just convention for a CSS class, so it's a lowercase c. I can see the lag is really bad. Sorry about that, guys. I really have to come up with a better solution, which I will, but for now just getting the error in is important. So yes, we'll have to do that. So now add user, so we just want to put the card around this now. Like so. And import it. Okay. Okay, cool. So put the card around it. So rather than putting the card here, we're actually going to put it around our form, within our add user form. So let's do that instead. So we will put it in here. Yes. And we'll just move all this over and import card. Okay, yep. So just watching the video. Okay, so add user. Okay, so he has added in the CSS for us. That's going to make this look better. So let's just drag and drop that, excuse me, and paste it in here. Yeah, and now we just need to link up our CSS with our component, so we'll just import that. And we just need to tell it within the same folder, module.css, and oh yeah, okay, so with the module we need to import it as something, so styles from. Okay, and now we're going to have to apply those styles also. And now we can add these. So we have our input. So we can add our class name. Okay. Something's happening. So we do want to pass these classes into the card, but the card currently doesn't support just passing in classes like that. So if we open up our card, we have our styles.card, so what's directly linked to this file, but we also want to accept styles coming in. We also want to accept styles coming in from the props. So therefore, therefore we need to do that. So yeah. Okay. So to do this, we use a template literal. Okay. Okay. So now we should be able to pass in classes from the component where we're defining it as well. So when we use add user, we can pass through another class and it should apply it now. So now if we do so now we should be able to do class name is styles dot input. There we go. Awesome. Okay. So what we've done is we've accepted class names being passed into our component and also the class names that are directly linked by the styles. So we're accepting the styles class name coming from card module CSS, which is the associated CSS file, and we're also accepting class names that are passed in as props. Cool, so we'll just commit this code so far. So I'll say Okay, so what I just thought is where I have this code, I already have a Git repository set up for Max's stuff. So what I can do is just copy and paste this code over there. So what are we looking at? So 8, 7. Where's 8? Yeah, here. Okay, so I'll cut this. This is what we were looking at. Oh. 8. So max project files 8. Okay, so okay, so what I want to do is actually cut this folder, cut and paste it into the files where we were using before. So if I open recent, here we go. Yeah, Max, I think this is it. So if I go view terminal, and just to see where we are in the folder. Okay, and then do git status. Okay, cool. So this is where we are. Git is tracking in here. There's a few untracked files down to us doing an npm install. That's all fine. So here in our sites folder, my sites folder, I have chapter 6 Max, and I'm just going to paste this project also here. Yeah, let's do it. Do you know what? So in here, I'm just going to create a new folder. New folder. And I'll call this chapter 8. And paste in this code. Paste. And I will also create another new folder. And I think this stuff is chapter 7. So I'll just paste in my current code in there. So now I have two different projects that are being tracked with the same Git repository. That's what I've done here. So now if I do git status, I should have even more files and changed files and everything. It's going to be loads of changes. Yeah, see, it's delete them and then move them over. So that's what we're going to see, because it's tracking everything in here. Has too many active changes. Yeah, because I just moved a whole load of stuff around. So I'll just cancel that and do git add everything. Okay. So that's just going to take a minute. Okay, so that's done. So now we're just going to commit and say chapter 8 max tracked. Which will also take a moment. And now we'll just git push. I paused that for a moment because it was taking some time. So we'll just pause. I mean push. Okay. And let's see what Max is saying. Oh, and I'll just run this again. So okay, so what else is in here? Okay, so we need to CD into 8, then we need to CD into React, then now we can run. So if we now do this, and code, we didn't go into code, did we? No. So I will stop that and CD into code, and then run npm start. Oh god, we need to go into folder 1, sorry. So CD 01 and npm start. And now we have our various folders here. And now we're going to create a button component. So within our UI folder, we're just going to create a button. New file button.js. And we've also been provided with the CSS for this. So let's just move that up. And then we can import it and use it. So there's our button module.css, and now we will set up our button component. So in order to do this, you already know the rigmarole, guys. So we import React from React. We don't need this pure component thing. Import React from React, then we will also import our CSS, import styles, because we're using the module way of doing these styles, so it's from within the same level, which is why we just have .module.css. There we go. Imports us from, and then we just declare our function to declare a React component as we have done this whole time. So it's button, and then we're going to accept our props, and then we get our function going and we tell it what to return. So we'll say return and open up our curly brackets, and then we will just export default so we can use this somewhere else, and then we will fill this in. So default button. So there we go. So now I'm just watching the video again for a moment. Okay. Yeah, so that makes sense. What we're going to return is a button. So, and then we're going to give it the class name of using these styles that we have declared. So yeah, button, because within our button.module.css we have this button class, and we'll just close off our button. So yeah, we're going to set what type of button it is. So it could be a submit button, or it could just be, you know, not a submit button. So we want to dynamically control what this button is doing. Okay. So it'll be button or props.type, and then the default is going to just be button, and we'll also add an on-click function. then just for better visuals, I will split this out a bit, so like so. Yeah. So we have our on click, what we want to happen when we click the button, and then we also have our closing tag, and in here we're going to want to have some text. So, and this also should be dynamic. Click, and then we want props.children. And now let's use this button. So we go back to our users, add user, and we can replace this button with our own button that we created and import that. So we just need to go up a level into the UI folder and button. So it's saying button is not defined, and okay. So button is there, we've exported it, we've defined it. Why it's not being found is another story. So don't know. So add user line 17, it's telling us that this button does not exist. Let's just reload the page. Okay, so it does exist. Cool. Yes, because it should. So there's our old button before we used our new class that we have got this associated CSS, and you can see the purple color there, the background and stuff. So if we now take a look, on hover, something should happen, and what happens is the color changes. So we can see that CSS in action, and we can see our button being used here. Excuse me, that we have declared a new component for. So just a smarter button really, and we have it now, so great. We can wrap this in parentheses. Okay, so we are going to actually handle inputting these username and age and do something with them. So for the time being, we're not actually doing something. So we're going to use state in order to allow us to do something with these. And then we can use it. So so because when we start off we have nothing, we'll start off with nothing as our original use state, and then we'll just declare this const enter the username and set entered username, and that's equal to useState. So now we can use this. So we will create a function that's going to fire every time we hit the keyboard. Handler, and we'll accept the event that's coming in, which is the key press. And then we can use this on change. So now we want to set that use state, or the state of the entered username, by using the set entered username in order to do that. And we want to send it to whatever comes in from this key press, which is the event.target.value. If you console log this out, it will just be what you've typed. So there we go. And we'll do the same for the age. And we could do this by declaring this as one object, but we'll do it like this. So we'll say entered age, and now we have set entered age, and just use this as well. So here we will have an age change handler, and then on change we can run the age change handler, and then we can set the age, set entered age, use the set entered age function to set the entered age. So there we go. For the moment, then also in the add user handler, so on submit, I just want to console log out what we have coming in. So we have our entered username and our entered age. So if we save that, open up our console and enter in some information, we should see that that is now being captured. So we go to our console here and say Lilly Code is my username, and I'm 30. So let's add, there we go, cool. So we have to handle the empty inputs and just give a warning to say it can't be empty, but we're making progress. So the first thing we want to do is set these back to nothing once something has been entered. So we just literally set it to an empty string. Okay. So the only reason that's not shown yet is because we're not actually sending back out our current state, so we just need to send that back out as well. So and we do that with value. Yeah. So now this should reset it. So I'll just go again. Lilly Code 30. And let's add user. Okay, and it did reset it, so that's great. Card is defined but never used in app.js. Yes, we did define it and we did never use it, so we'll just get rid of that import because we actually used it over in our add user instead. So if I clear this and try and add something back in and add an age, there we go, perfect, and it cleared them, so that's great. Okay, so yes, we're just going to add some validation now as well. So within our add user, what we want to do is check the age. So we'll say if and the username to make sure that there's something there. So if entered username dot trim, so this is just to take away the white space, dot length is equal to 0, or aka if there is nothing there. And then we'll also say or, oh no, so then we will also say or, okay, cool, we'll also say or, and we shall say or, which is just these two bars, entered age, dot trim, length. So if either the age or the username is blank, then just come back out, don't do anything, so you can stop executing code. We don't need you to save anything. And then we'll also say if the entered age is less than 1, because you gotta be 1, guys, if you want to use my form. So we will also return no babies allowed. Okay, so yeah, and we initialize this to a string. So this isn't going to work because it's a string. So I think it should just type it over. It'll just send it. But we should check, yeah. So if we do this, if we add the plus, it definitely makes it a number. So we're comparing a number and a number, even though it would have done the comparison itself. But Lilly Code, and we'll go with, and it disappeared. Cool. All right. Yeah, so now we're going to actually store these users as they come in, because we're not actually doing anything with them at the moment, but we've set up the logic that we can add them at least. But we want to do something, so we'll add them to a list down below. So that's what we're going to do. So for this, we need a new component. So I'm just watching the video to see what Max is about to do, but I think we're going to just create a new component, and I think we're going to output it below our form here. So we'll just create a users list component because that makes sense. So new file, and we'll set it up as always. So import React from React, and let's define it. So and it's going to accept our props, and bada bing bada boom baby, let's go. And then we shall return an unhonored list, and we will export it. So we will be getting our list from the props that are passed in, and we're going to be having users coming in, so we'll call it users, and then we can go through each of those different users and map them and display them. So we're going to map them as a JSX element, yeah. Okay, so now we have our user coming in. For our individual user, we're going to map over them, and this is how we're going to return them back out. So we want to send back out our list item, map over them, return our list item, and we want our name and then our user age, and then we'll just close off our list item. I want this to be like this, yep. And then we just need another opening parentheses because I did that, and then we should be good to go. So I'll just move this one down as well so it's not confusing, and that's looking good. So we're also going to use our card here. And we're going to wrap this in a card. And we have our associated CSS paste that, and then we can import this. So styles, you can call this whatever you want. This is just going to be how you access that file. And then we want this from our users list module. So userslist.module.css. From. So, okay. Yeah. So we'll just actually use this add our users list. So here we actually have our add user component straight in the app.js, so we can add it underneath this, like so. UserList.module.css is not found. So back here, users, okay. UsersList.module.css. So this is giving out. So how did we do it for styles from within the same folder? Okay, yes. So here's styles from within the same folder, yes. And we just need to actually use that, so that's okay. And now this is still the same error because I did change it from user to users. And now we just have a problem with the map. So now we're going to fix this map issue, so that's cool. So where's the issue? So the issue is in users list line 8. Okay. So cannot read undefined, so we're not passing in something to map over. Cannot read property of undefined. So yeah. So I just need to pass something in, so I called it users, and users is going to be coming from okay, so we can just set it to an empty array. So that's cool. Okay. Okay. So my React project is not loading at the moment, so it's just waiting for this to load here. So therefore, it is now an hour. We're 10 seconds away. Ta-da-da, by the time I finish waffling, saying thank you so much for joining me today on day 18 of 100 Days of Code, and have a wonderful evening. I'm sure the time will be up, so there you go. Yeah, so have a lovely day, guys, and see you tomorrow for the same thing. So peace, enjoy, adios amigos, ciao.